so let's get started. You're going to take 1.5 sticks of butter. So each stick has 8 tablespoons. And so we're going to take softened room temperature butter. We're going to put it in a large bowl. I use Kerrygold unsalted. It is expensive, but the grocery stores do run sales on it, and that's when I pick it up. And it does freeze well. So any butter will do, but Kerrygold is really good. Then I'm going to take a gonna take a butter knife. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right about there, we're gonna cut it. And there we go. Into a bowl is 1.5 sticks of butter, softened. So we're gonna move that around a little bit. Spread it out, break it up just a little bit. Get it off the spatula. Okay, and to this, we are going to add vanilla extract. I really like Mexican vanilla. The Molina I find fairly good. It doesn't have any soy or anything. Some higher end vanillas are concentrated in bourbon, but I have a rye allergy, so I stay away from those. But I do just well with the Molina Mexican Vanilla Blend. So we're going to take 1 tablespoon of that. And it's finished off the bottle. That was a perfect tablespoon. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to set that down for a second. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of whole milk. Remove that. Okay. 1, 2 tablespoons. Give it a little mix. There we go. Now we got our butter chunks and our milk and vanilla mixture. We're next going to grab our food scale and we're going to measure out the sugar and the molasses. Okay, so now we have our kitchen scale and we're going to go ahead and turn it on. We're going to verify that our units are in grams. It says 0. We're going to press it just to tare it. Now we're going to take the bowl that has the butter, milk, and vanilla extract mixture in it. We're going to set it on the scale. Let it settle. Then we're going to tare it again. Okay, so you see that it says 0. Now we're going to add roughly 1.25 cups, which is roughly 250 grams of white sugar. We're going to use a scale for it. It's at 101, so we got a little bit of ways. Oops. 126. 171. 217. 252, so we're going to call that good. Gone down to 251, but that's okay. All right, now we're going to tare it again. And to that, we're going to take our tablespoon measurement that we just used for the milk and the vanilla extract, and we're going to add molasses. Hold on, move this out of the way. We're going to use Grandma's Original Molasses. Let's see if we can get to focus. There you go. Grandma's Original Molasses, the yellow label. And it also just has molasses, no soy, tree nuts, or peanuts. I find this easier than trying to keep brown sugar soft. I have a mold allergy, so sticking a piece of bread in there for the moisture is just not realistic. Finding a bread is hard enough, store-bought, with soy and all the allergies. So anyway, to the bowl, you can add 1 or 2 tablespoons. The equivalent for light brown sugar is 1 tablespoon per cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons per cup of sugar for dark brown sugar. So it's personal preference, but I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon. All right. Get it to stop. All right. I'm going to add that on top of the sugar. I'm actually going to take this off the scale because we don't need the scale at the moment. We'll need it again for the flour, but we're going to go ahead and set it aside. And I'm going to go ahead and use the scoop. Scoop out all of that molasses. Okay, so now we have our butter, our vanilla extract, our whole milk, our white sugar, and our molasses, and we're gonna cream this together. If you wanted to, you could absolutely use a hand mixer or a stand mixer, but I'm just doing it by hand today. I kind of use a spatula and I spread it on the bottom, and that helps break up the butter a bit, get it incorporated a little faster. It's really important that you let the butter get to room temperature or soften. I don't know if it's exactly room temperature, but you know what I'm saying. So there we go. We're gonna call that good enough. It'll obviously be more mixed if you do it by hand, but that's a good enough combination for the next step. Okay, to this mixture, we're going to add 1 large egg. And combine. Okay, in a second bowl, we're going to use the scale again. Okay, make sure it's in grams. We're going to tare it. Then we're going to add a smaller bowl. Let it settle. Tare it with the bowl. And to this bowl, we're going to add roughly 2 cups of flour equal to 260 grams. I prefer using a scale because if you pack flour versus just fluffy, the weight is much different, but with grams, you get a more consistent result. So I use a scale. Okay, so we have 127 going up to 260. We're at 173, 206. $55, we're getting close. $260, $261. We're gonna call that good. So we can now take it off the scale. I'm gonna turn the scale off and set it aside. To this bowl with the flour, we're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon. Let's see if we got it. Teaspoon. We're going to do 3/4, so we're just going to fill it most of the way full of baking soda. I used the Arm & Hammer. So about like that. I don't know if you can see the edges. So we're going to sprinkle that in. And then we're going to take Morton Coarse Kosher salt. This is what I cook with. I use it in everything, baking and cooking. It's a thicker salt, but it's really good. And we're going to use 3/4 of it as well. It has a pour spout and a sprinkle, but for today we're going to use the pour spout. Let's say about that. It's 3/4. So we're going to sprinkle that in, and then we're going to take a fork and mix together the dry ingredients. Just make sure everything is well combined. So we've mixed our dry and we have our wet, and now we're ready to combine the dry into the wet. And we're just going to use the half cup and just add in small batches and incorporate it. Bring this one back up. Okay. So about like that. So it's not a full half cup, but just as a way to put in a little bit at a time. Makes it easier to mix. We're just gonna mix it in. If I didn't mention this already, you want to make sure you are preheating your oven to 375 degrees and lining a sheet pan with parchment paper. So there you have it, the dough with all the flours mixed in. And now we're going to add the chocolate chips. Okay, so let's have a word about chocolate chips. Anyone that has a soy allergy knows that soy lecithin is in almost all store-bought chocolate. It's used as an emulsifier, helps it hold its form and shape. And so it's very hard to have anything chocolate when you have a soy allergy. Needless to say, there's also manufactured in a facility that has peanuts or tree nuts, etc. But this is not sponsored, but I wanted to show you guys, this is how you can make them at home yourself. Nestle Toll House has come out with organic, allergen-free, Semisweet, and also dark chocolate morsels. And I find these at Walmart. And the 9 major food allergens that they list are peanuts, tree nuts, egg, milk, wheat, soy, fish, shellfish, and sesame. So these are free from those. It's literally 3 ingredients. It's organic cane sugar, organic chocolate, and organic cocoa butter. Both of them have those 3 ingredients. It's just the ratio, which makes it semi-sweet versus dark. I love them, and this is how you can make dessert that has chocolate in it at home when you have allergies. So thank you. Big shout out to Nestle. Very appreciative. So in a smaller bowl, we're going to take 1 cup using our old 1 cup measuring spoon that we use for the flour. The little excess flour is not going to hurt the chocolate chips. Might make it easier to mix, actually. And I have a little bit left of an old pack, so I'm going to use that first. But we're going to use 1 cup from each, the Semisweet and from the dark chocolate. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's the last of that. And I'll show you what the chocolate chips look like in just a second. They look just like regular chocolate chips. They just have cleaner ingredients. And no soy or nuts. It's literally so exciting. I've only ever personally seen them at Walmart, but I've also heard that they're sold at Sprouts from a friend that also has soy allergies. She's the one who actually told me about it. Shout out to Kim. So these are what the semi-sweet, let me focus it so you can see. These are what the semi-sweet chocolate morsels from Toll House look like. The allergen free. So we're going to put that in there. And then we're going to do the same with the dark chocolate. And I put them in a bowl so I can mix the chocolate chips together before I fold them in. That's just so you get an even distribution between semi-sweet and dark. Let's see. Yeah, that's about a cup. So this is what the dark chocolate looks like. It's kind of hard to see, but there is a shade difference. It shows up more actually on the camera between the two. There you go. So I'm going to pour those in. And then I'm going to give it a little mix by hand. Literally, I was so excited when I found out about these chocolate chips. Because I love chocolate. Anyone that knows me knows I love chocolate, but I can't eat dessert out anymore. And like Halloween candy's off and everything. See, now you can kind of see you have the darker chocolate chips mixed in with the lighter ones. So that's good. And now we have our dough. It's all nice and well incorporated. And we're going to put in just a little bit at a time. You want to add a little bit at a time so that you aren't over mixing, because it's going to be harder to mix them all in at once and your dough will get tough. You don't want that. So you just want to do a little bit at a time. Okay, so got some more. I just do about a handful at a time. Smells good. And in terms of folding, it's really just being gentle, and I scrape the edge of the bowl and then I kind of push it down. So it's like a half C. And sometimes you go through the bottom of the bowl. And that's just so you're not over mixing it, but you're incorporating it. And you can use these chocolate chips in muffins. You can use them in bagels. You can use them in anything just as you would regular chocolate chips. It's just allergen free. Like literally, I'm so excited. Toll House, you knocked it out of the park with that one. Can't say enough great things about it. Okay, so now we're just going to pour the last little bit in. And if you do use a stand mixer in the earlier steps, you don't want to use it for this step. You want to do this by hand, whether you used a hand mixer, stand mixer, or by hand in the beginning. Otherwise, your chocolate chips will break down and it won't be good. Hence folding. Okay, so that looks good and mixed to me and ready to ball up and bake. Okay, so now we're going to roll the cookie dough into balls and we're going to put them on a lined sheet pan lined with parchment paper, and then we're going to stick it in the oven. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and set this spatula aside because we don't need it anymore. We're going to take nice pinch size. You're just going to roll it in your hands about the size of a golf ball. That's what you're going for. You want to set them about 2 inches apart. Just a little bit. There we go. Trying to get 4 in a row. I'm putting them a little close on my pan, so they might touch at the end, but that's not a big deal for me. If you don't want that, just do less per row and then just bake more sheets. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not using it today because I'm out of it, but I usually use Reynolds Smart Grid, and it has like white lining on the parchment sheet paper itself. And if you have trouble visualizing like how far to space it, I find that the Smart Grid is really helpful because it gives you like a graph paper grid line. But today I'm just using plain ones, and that works too. Just if you're having trouble visualizing it, I recommend that product. Also not sponsored, just a big fan. Now this cookie dough doesn't require any resting, but you can keep it in the fridge for a couple days and bake it just as normal. If you freeze it, you might want to put it in the fridge, let it thaw a little bit before you bake it. But it's a great recipe. I hope you enjoy it. I know Thanksgiving is coming up soon, and pecan pie and pumpkin pie and all the pies are very popular during this time. But graham crackers have soy in it, if you didn't know, and obviously pecans are a tree nut. So making chocolate chip cookies with allergen-free chocolate chips would be a great dessert for your allergy um, loved ones so that they can have something sweet too. Starting to stick to my hands just a little bit, but that's okay. We're almost done. If you do put them in the freezer, I would suggest that you roll the rest of the cookie dough into balls before you go to freeze them.